Thank you for joining 7 Minutes of Inspiration with Seven. It has been a few days since I've been on, but I have been extremely excited to jump on with my new topic, a topic that has recently touched my heart. I've stated before, 7 Minutes of Inspiration is for all of us, for those life situations that we're going through, and how sometimes some of us will be allowed to go through some things so that we can be an inspiration to others. And so the next topic that I am getting ready to discuss is called the butterfly effect. And so when I began to do my research on butterflies and the significance of butterflies and how a butterfly becomes a butterfly, I became extremely intrigued by the research. And so I wanted to take and relate that in a human form of things that we go through, transforming into what it is that we've been called to be. And so I'm going to look down a little bit. Please forgive me, but I just took some notes on the topic in regards to the butterfly effect and how it affects us and those different things that we go through that are working out for our good. So when I began to think about the butterfly effect, I began to think about the metamorphosis that takes place when a butterfly has to first go through being a caterpillar in order to get to that stage of becoming a beautiful butterfly. And just some of the research that I began to look at, it talked about, a caterpillar being formed into a butterfly was inevitable. There was nothing that they could do about it because that was the process that had been called over their life. And so as the caterpillar grows and develops, it's learning to live in a free will state, just like us as humans. As we begin to grow, as we begin to age, it's kind of like when you're young, looking to become an adult, there are rules, there are stipulations on things that you can and cannot do. And then you begin to move into a free will state. Moving into that free will state, there are things that you are allowed to do. But again, you have to be cautious because all of these things are becoming a part of your growth. And so it just talked about, it knew that it was even in the midst of its going through its free will state, it knew what it was destined to transform into being. How many of us out here, we know the things that have been called over our life, the things that we've been called to do, but we're living in such of a free will state that we don't know if it's working out good or bad for the purposes that have been called over our life. And so when we begin to think about the caterpillar, we begin to think about the shedding, how it's growing through the many stages. Many of us are in a place in our life where we're constantly having to shed some things off. Many of us are constantly going through transformations and changes. I realized from careful research that some caterpillars don't become butterflies. They become moths. And the reason they become moths is because they don't go through the transformation process in order to become a butterfly. So the metamorphosis for me was like a breaking. It's a breaking of your outer core to really truly become what it is that you desire to be. And for many of us, we're destined for something great. We just can't deny it. It's all over us. However, some of us, we just don't know what it is yet. Research does show us that by looking at a caterpillar, you can't determine what kind of butterfly it's going to be. It's not evident. Many of us are in a stage of our life. We're trying to figure out what it's going to look like, what it's going to be like, what's the layout. And you just don't know by looking at today's circumstances. If I looked at today's circumstances, I probably could not see the butterfly that God is evolving me into being. And so I'm not trying to figure out the whole picture. Even when I think about coming on and wanting to vlog, I don't think about the whole picture. Even God checked me on even putting the days out there that I would do it, because it didn't work. Because that wasn't, really rooted in my heart to do it probably that many times a week or to be that disciplined at that time. Don't think for 1 second for those commitments that I made, it didn't bother me. It did bother me because many a times, and I've spoken on it before, we overcommit and we underdeliver all the time. And so we just have to be careful what we put into the atmosphere. Was my time taken to do something crazy? No, God just had me moving in another direction. You don't know what direction he's going to move you in next. So you have to be careful over planning ahead. You don't know what lies ahead of you. So again, allow him to be the captain of your ship. You have to believe in something. Allow him to be the captain of your ship and to lead and guide you where you need to be, because many of us are leading and guiding ourselves and giving our own self these plans, and our plans are only being made to be broken because he knows the end result. And so just to close out on the whole metamorphosis between the butterfly and the caterpillar, for us, you know, we go through many different stages. And when you're going through these different stages, each transformation will require a different version of you. It just will. It's going to require you to be wiser. It's going to require you to be stronger. It's going to require you to be more resilient, in order for you to shed and become what it is, what you're truly supposed to be. When I begin to look at the caterpillar now, I'm not going to look at it the same. Because when I look at a caterpillar, in the back of my mind, I cannot see the butterfly. I know that butterflies are real. I know that people have the ability to change, but sometime in that moment, because of what we're going through, we cannot see the end. And the caterpillar and the butterfly is a prime example. Looking at the two, they look like totally two different creatures. And that is how God does when he makes us new. We won't look like the old. There will be a transformation that begins to take place over our life that will make us new and whole. We will breathe and walk with a different purpose. We will be more positive instead of being negative. We will draw those into us so that we can be a blessing. We won't be dramaful. We won't always find something juicy to grab onto. You know, our goal, our sole primary purpose will be out, to be out and encouraging someone and building someone else up, and, you know, raising someone else and raising the standards that even they have for themselves. That is my whole goal. For us to raise the standards that we have for ourselves, because we are so much more blessed than we think we are. We're blessed in the houses that we have, the cars we drive, the jobs we have. We are more than blessed. And it is because God has called us blessed. It's not because of anything that has been given to us. So don't ever get confused about the stuff that you have. It's just stuff. You can have it today and it can be gone tomorrow. But that's enough for today. 7 minutes of inspiration. Please make sure you continue to tune in. It has been a pleasure to speak with you today. Refuse to see yourself anything less than what you've been called, and that is blessed. I love you all, and I look forward to talking to you soon.